What's up, everyone? Welcome to Maximum Zach, and today we have Santa Claus. Dude, thank you so much for taking your time out of this busy time of the year for
Thanks for inviting me, Zach. Just before we get started, I know you're the one asking the questions. I just want to ask, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm doing good.
I'm Santa. I see everything. That cactus stunt, I still have nightmares about that. And also, I don't know what your future plans are for children, but some of those shots you've taken to your jingle bells, I just don't know if that's in your future or not.
Yeah, I'm trying not to get hit in the jingle bells anymore.
Good for you. That's a good strategy.
Yeah, I would like to be able to bear children. I mean, I guess that's what a woman would say. But I'd like to have children.
You do it whichever way you want.
Yeah,
buddy.
I guess that's true. Thank you, Santa. Yeah. It's very progressive.
I'm here for you.
But yeah, so hopefully I can have kids at some point. You can bring them presents if they're good.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
So Santa, it's what I do.
So, what was earlier life like for you? Were you always is Santa your actual name, or does it come later? How does it work?
Santa is an egregore. Santa is an amalgamation of everyone in the world who's ever believed in Santa, ever loved Santa, ever loved Christmas. Okay. All that kind of comes together. You've never seen a speck of dust. We can't see a speck of dust. We've all seen dust bunnies.
Yeah.
Santa's kind of a dust bunny. Okay. So really, my existence is based on everyone's joined belief in this concept of a loving, generous creature that flies through the night and rewards them once a year for just being good.
Okay. So, do you actually live in the North Pole right now? Or
yes.
Is it just a timeshare scenario? Or?
No, full-time. It's me and Mrs. Claus, a lot of elves. I honestly, I don't even know how many we have at this point. It's a lot. It is a lot. The reindeer, plus, here's the thing, because, the reindeer, there's a lot of them now, too. We saw the original 8. They're still immortal, all that stuff, plus Rudolph. But then, there's been there's Swarovski. Swarovski, that's Rudolph's granddaughter.
Wow.
And she DJs. The glowing nose thing is fantastic. And
that's really
she's like her own
sick.
little disco ball when she's DJing. It's fantastic. I really
Dude, I didn't even know about that. So do they all go with you to deliver the presents, or do you just pick a few, or how's it work?
No. It's just me and the reindeer and the sleigh.
Okay.
So the elves and Mrs. Claus all stay behind. Mrs. Claus is pretty much the CEO at this point.
Okay.
I help with toy design. I make a lot of the creative decisions, but really she runs the day-to-day.
Okay.
So my biggest job is the delivery guy once a year.
Yeah, so you're the face, though. You're the face of it. She's behind the scenes. That's awesome. Behind every man is a powerful woman, At least someone said that. I don't know who said that. But
all the reindeer are female. Everyone gets that wrong.
The
reindeer are female.
Wait, what?
Santa's reindeer are female. Get it straight.
Oh my
Tim Allen movie with male reindeer. What the
Dude.
fudge? So here's the thing. Male reindeer drop their antlers in winter. Female reindeer drop their antlers in spring, which means my reindeer are all female. It always has been.
No, I didn't even know that.
Dancer, Vixen, Cupid. Mm-hmm. Those are all girls.
Okay. So, with, speaking of the reindeer, so how do they become, immortal or magical, or how does that happen? Because there are some, or, all reindeer can fly? How does it work?
No, just mine.
Just
only
yours?
the ones that live at the North Pole with me. And again, it goes back to them being an amalgamation, the imaginations of all the children. Rudolph didn't exist until a Jewish guy wrote a Christmas song, by the way. Until he wrote Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, there was no Red-Nosed Reindeer. But then, as children around the world fell in love with that song and that story, Rudolph joined the gang, became one of us.
Okay. No, that's awesome. So I saw this meme online recently. I really like how it's about Vixen. And they're saying that Vixen is the sexy reindeer. Is that true?
I have no comment on that.
It's okay. You don't have to comment.
Reindeer are not in my lane. So,
okay. I just wasn't sure.
I think that all reindeer are beautiful.
Okay.
That's my.
I was hoping you weren't gonna say, "Yeah, dude, she's hot." Like, but that's good. So everyone knows now. Everyone knows. So you live in the North Pole. So did you grow up around there? Did you answer an Indeed ad or something to become Santa, or did how does it get bestowed upon to you to become Santa?
We covered this.
Okay.
The egregore thing. Yeah, okay. Literally, I didn't have a childhood. I didn't exist before all
you
this.
You didn't exist at all?
No. Until
sorry. Yeah.
The Christmas spirit of everyone around the world comes together and creates Santa. And that's why there's so many different Santas. Obviously, I can't imagine the typical mall Santa sitting here answering questions with you. So you manifest sort of a different alt sort of Santa who chomps on a candy cane cigar and answers these weird questions for you.
Yeah.
The kid
Thank you so much for answering these weird questions, too.
The kid who has been raised with a traditional Santa sees traditional Santa. The kid who needs to see a black Santa to feel represented and seen, they see black Santa. Santa can be anyone or anything in your life that brings that to you.
Now I see it more. Okay. Thank you for making me see that.
So real, but also kind of not real. But definitely real. Real kids, don't worry. Santa's real. It's okay.
Okay. So when I was younger, I saw this mall Santa take off his his uniform and everything, his costume, and he just went and started being a normal person in the mall. And I was like, oh my god, is that Santa not real? It's not the real Santa. And then my family was like, no, they just work for Santa. Is that true?
There are a lot of Santa's helpers out there.
Yeah.
Santa, I don't want to say Santa's a god, but Santa can be anywhere, everywhere, all at the same time. So I can be in all those places. But occasionally there are others who jump in and help out, like the guys at the mall.
Okay. Nice. So when you go into a house, so can you run me through how it works? So you have to hit every house in the year. So I know there's a lot of magic and stuff that goes into that.
It's really warm in here. This is 55 degrees. I'm not used to this. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. Actually, speaking of that, is global warming affecting the North Pole at all?
Oh, absolutely. Oh my gosh, yes. It's terrible up there. Here's the thing. I'm used to it being cold all the time. Like I said, anything above 50 and I'm sweating like a kid on the naughty list. But yeah, we're totally dealing with that. And not in my jurisdiction. There's absolutely nothing I can do. There's no Christmas magic. There's no Christmas miracle that can fix that. That's on you guys. Yeah. All right? I handle the presents. I got my job taken care of. You guys deal with that. Because seriously, if that melts, I don't have a workshop. The reindeer have to go someplace else. The elves have to find new jobs, probably with Apple being paid below minimum wage, and I'm not letting that happen. So get on it.
No, it's a serious problem, It is. We don't want that to happen. So with the elves, so they're making toys and stuff all year, or do they just start around Christmas?
Oh no, we go all year round.
All year round. Okay. And then do they what do they do? Do they have free time? What do they do? Or are they just really stoked on? Is that just what brings them happiness, just making the toys, or do they have other hobbies and stuff?
They love it. I've offered them more breaks. I've tried to offer them vacation time. They love being in the workshop. They love making toys. They love watching on Christmas Eve. We have big screens up everywhere for them, so they can see when presents are being opened and see the smiles on the kids' faces. They love that stuff. But we do make sure they got enough downtime. Make sure they get plenty of rest.
Okay.
Lots of meals.
Okay.
A little bit of fun. They like to play reindeer games, things like that.
Yeah, I can see that. So do the elves this is, I just don't know a lot about elves, so do they just magically appear? Are they the same elves all the time? Or do they have to reproduce to make more elves? How does that work?
Again, the whole egregore thing, the collective that creates them. But now that we have them, they do reproduce on their own. Yeah. So there are a lot of elves now. I cannot even begin to keep track of them all at this point. Once upon a time, I knew all their names, knew everyone, piece of cake, and now they're everywhere. That's a good thing. Not complaining, but It's a lot of elves.
Is there like an elf?
The grocery bill is killing me.
Yeah, I bet, dude. What do elves eat, even?
A lot of sugar.
Yeah.
But Buddy the Elf, yeah, that's pretty legit. That's on brand.
That's pretty accurate?
Yeah.
That's good.
That was a very accurate portrayal.
That's great. So when you're going into houses and stuff and delivering presents and do you give coal actually for people?
No!
No. You just not give
Okay, here's the thing. Once upon a time, the whole coal thing started.
Yeah.
Because if
I feel like that would be expensive.
You're not kidding. So, long ago, if you were naughty at Christmas time, the reason we gave coal is because rather than give you a gift for you to play with like a toy, we gave you something useful for your entire family. This is when coal was actually a useful thing for a family to have around.
Yeah.
Nowadays, we know how awful coal is, polluting the world. So it's expensive, it's dirty, kids don't have a use for it in any way, shape, or form. Now we don't do coal anymore. In fact, here's the thing. At this point, we've always said there's room for everyone on the nice list.
Yeah.
At this point, almost everyone's on the nice list.
We were arguing, me and a friend, about, like, if you killed someone in self-defense, would you be on the nice list?
We did it on case by case.
Case by case.
There's got to be case by case.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I feel like you have to look into, like, the... Like
if it's legitimate self-defense, all right, we're not talking Florida stand your ground nonsense.
Yeah.
If it's legitimate self-defense, then of course I'm not going to put you on the naughty list for that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping not too many kids have to be killing people in self-defense.
I hope not.
But yeah. So sorry for getting so dark there. So what's your favorite?
I'm here to answer the tough questions. I'm ready for it.
Thank you so much for coming, man. So. What's your favorite cookie to get? Like when you... Yeah.
Yes.
Just any cookie?
Any cookie.
Any cookie.
Yeah. That's Mrs. Claus has me on... This is actually a sugar-free candy cane. Mrs. Claus has had me on these for a couple of years now. Because I figured oral fixation thing, so I cut down on the cookies, but it's really hard. It is really, really hard.
Yeah.
Homemade.
Completely
if
understand.
you leave a plate of homemade cookies for Santa's, I'll take store-bought. I don't mind. Throw some
Yeah.
Oreos in there. Not a problem. But you leave homemade cookies for Santa. Those are always the absolute best.
Okay, now let's go on to the milk portion of this. So, what's your favorite kind of milk? Any milk? Or do you get upset, like, if you go in there and there's oat milk or, like, almond milk?
Santa's all about giving and generosity and the spirit of giving. So I'm not going to fault anyone for the type of milk they leave out for me.
Yeah.
Having said that, I'm a 2% fan myself.
Yeah.
As I've gotten older, I've kind of lost my taste for whole milk. I don't know how or why that happened. But yeah, I still really enjoy an ice cold glass of real milk. Oh, that's the best. But I'm happy with anything leave out for me.
Good. So what's like the weirdest present you've had to give someone?
Wow. That is such a long list.
Yeah.
There was a toilet one year.
Is there anything that you decide?
I don't want to go into details on it, but somebody asked for a toilet, and I
nice.
that.
Is there anything that you you won't make for people, like present wise, or like the elves are just like, no, we're not making that?
Well, we'd never make anything that would hurt somebody.
Okay.
You know, every once in a while we see a gun show up on the list. We're not going to bring a real gun. We might bring a toy gun, but not going to bring knives, guns, anything that actually hurts somebody. Not going to happen.
How long does it usually take you to do all the to get all the presents done, like delivered wise? Like after they're all ready and sacked and in the satchel and everything in the bag. How long does it take to get all the presents out there? Like, is it just that night? It's like an 8 hour. It's like a couple hours or.
We're gonna edit this part out, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
I'm not gonna say that Santa is a Time Lord.
Yeah.
But Santa's kind of a Time Lord. I mean, how do you think I fit all those toys into one bag that then fits inside a sleigh that's pulled by 8 reindeer?
Yeah.
It's a whole TARDIS technology kind of thing. Not exactly the same thing, but really similar. So hypothetically, it's one night as far as the world's concerned. It's a couple months in Santa time of popping around and edging time here and there to make all that happen.
What do you think about Amazon?
I think for parents, here's because everyone this is another thing everybody gets wrong. Everybody gets this wrong. Santa does not bring most of your presents. I know that's controversial. People don't want to hear that. Santa does not bring most of the presents. The kids who get like the giant pile of presents under their tree every Christmas, Santa brings you a couple of the small things on your list. 1 or 2 things. Put some stuff in your stocking. The big stuff's from your parents. Don't ever let anyone tell you that you got lousy presents because you're poor and that's why Santa doesn't like you. Santa doesn't bring the big stuff. If your friend's getting big stuff from Santa, their parents bought it and wrote Santa on the tag. Okay. So yeah, Amazon's great for parents who are on a budget and need it delivered quick. I actually think they're fantastic for that.
Okay.
Their workforce not so great. Me and the elves talk about that a lot. They could learn some things from our workshop.
Do you think what would happen if? Are the elves in a union or anything? Do they do they ever? Are you afraid of them unionizing or?
Not at all. Not at all. We've talked about it. I actually approached them. I asked if they want to unionize, and we've just made a point of treating our workers well over the years. Yeah. They've never unionized because they've never had to. There's never been anything that we weren't able to come to an agreement on as far as what they needed to get the work done for us.
Okay. What's your favorite Christmas movie?
Oh, wow. Yeah, we probably shouldn't show this part. Top 3.
Okay.
Krampus.
Okay.
Violent Night. Fat Man.
Okay.
Those are all. And I gotta tell you, all right, not trying to brag or anything, but really, Violent Night and Fat Man are probably the 2 closest depictions to an actual Santa that I've ever seen. But again, Santa morphs and changes. Santa is what you need him to be in that moment. So he's not always that. But I like to think that's more the mythos and the mindset that created this particular incarnation of me.
Okay. So Krampus, is that like a villain of yours, or is he
yeah, Krampus actually predates
an enemy?
Santa. Krampus has been referred to as the shadow of Saint Nicholas. Okay. In Europe, I think specifically the Iceland, they had, or they still have, Saint Nick's Day. All right. So since Saint Nicholas is part of the Santa mythos and all of that, Saint Nicholas, and this again, a lot of the American Christmas ideas came from the Dutch in Pennsylvania, the settlers that came over and blah blah blah.
Okay.
Blah. So the Europeans who came and settled in Pennsylvania, they brought a lot of their Christmas traditions. Saint Nick's Day is December 6th.
Okay.
Now, Saint Nick's Day traditionally, we're talking like old school. Yeah. You would leave your shoes out the night before, and if you had been good, Saint Nick would leave an orange and some nuts, because those were rare back then, and maybe some coins or some other small things. And still, Saint Nick comes on that night for certain kids who believe and leaves little presents in their shoes. But if you were bad, that's when Krampus came. Krampus came before Saint Nick on Krampusnacht, December 5th. And if you were bad, Krampus would come and drag you from your bed and beat you with a switch.
Oh, man.
And if you were really bad, he would either eat you or throw you into the sack on the back, or the basket on his back, and drag you back to hell with him. Krampus is retired now. He actually does not eat children anymore. I'd like to point that out. He now uses a substitution. They were calling it child beaters, but we had to change that because that was not good. But yeah, he's totally off the kid diet at this point.
That's good.
Yeah, but now he has kind of become another Santa Claus in a way.
Yeah.
You know, the egregore phenomenon's happened with him as well, and he's made a big comeback as an anti-hero to Christmas. Yeah. You know, whereas the typical mall Santa, probably not the person you want to have this conversation with.
Yeah.
Who's just going to give you super sugary answers. You want a Santa who's going to play it straight with you.
Yeah.
Well, for a lot of the kids who need something different, kids who feel like Santa would not accept them, which is a bunch of nonsense. Santa loves everyone. But for the kids who feel like society has told them that they don't belong on Santa's nice list, Krampus has become an anti-hero. And I know a lot of kids who get presents from Krampus at Christmas instead of Santa. And I think that's fantastic, that's how his legend has evolved now.
That's great. Like, I don't know, I love that. This wasn't what I was thinking, but, so, do elves, have genitalia? Do they?
I don't make it a habit of looking.
Yeah.
I would assume so.
Yeah, because I mean they are.
Here's the thing. We do have elves that present as male and female. Yeah. We also have some who present as non-binary or gender fluid. But I haven't actually looked personally. I just take their word for it. I think that's how it should be.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. What do you think of? You ever played the game Elf Bowling, where you like throw the ball at the elves like they're the pins? Do you are you guys like not stoked on that? Is that something where they were like upset?
I gotta ask again. Are you okay, son? I worry about you sometimes. Just what are you doing with your life? That's a thing. No, of course not.
It was a popular game.
No, yeah, let's go elf bowling, and then after that we'll go shoot some reindeer for fun. Why not? No, of course not. I'm not hunting reindeer. I'm not bowling elves. Good heavens. You even upset the dog now.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. I know you didn't mean it. But
okay.
It was an insensitive question. I apologize. I don't usually lose my temper. But.
Yeah. So do you get like royalties on all the Santa movies, or is it just like one of those things where like you're just like, fuck, dude? Like,
well, I don't use that word. Okay. We usually say fruitcake instead.
But start saying that.
There's no royalties on the image thing. Man. Here's the problem. Okay, here's the problem. One, there are so many different incarnations of Santa, like I said.
Yeah.
I appear in so many different forms and so many different places, it would be impossible to try to legally lay claim to all of those, let alone just one specific one. And since I am technically a magical creature that was created by this amalgam of other people's imaginations, I can't really lay claim to it because they created me first.
Okay.
I know. We would make a fortune on the royalties. Yeah, you would all be getting way better presents and way more of them if I could cash in on that. But
no, I understand that. That makes sense. So, what do you think about the Tim Allen movie Santa Claus?
I thought it was fun. It's total fiction. That's not how Santas are created. We already discussed all that. But I think it's a fun... I actually liked his portrayal of Santa. Not so much the series. The series was meh, but the first 3 movies, loved all of those.
Nice. Yeah, no, I was a huge fan too.
And by the way, the one thing that you get it right is the ELF, the Elf Liberation Front. That's a real thing. We've had to call them in a few times. I've had a couple of tight spots over the years, and
that's pretty sick, actually.
Yeah, Bay of Pigs, that was close, but the ELF pulled it at the last minute for me.
Nice. So I set up a link for people to do like a call-in thing, and we only got one call for some reason. I think it was my fault that we didn't, because I set it up last minute. But we got one call from someone, and it was just like they could ask questions to Santa or just like have something to say to Santa. And this is what we got. I'm gonna play it for you. I'm just gonna ask you to take it in, and then we'll go. Then we'll talk about it, or if we have a response to it. I couldn't believe this came in. Actually, super wild.
Hey Zach, it's Tim Allen from the movie Santa Claus. First, I want to say I love your podcast. I listen to it all the time, and you were awesome in Jackass. But yeah, this guy you have on your podcast right now is not the real Santa. I'm the real Santa. Disney hired me to make the movie Santa Claus because that really happened to me. I killed the first Santa with my tool from Home Improvement because I thought some fat guy was breaking into my house. The next thing I know, I had to deliver a bunch of presents to cover it up. That movie is based on my life. I mean, they cut out the part where I snitch on those drug dealers. Just be careful, that guy isn't the real Santa. I am. I give Mrs. Claus my big candy cane every night, and she loves it. That guy on your podcast has real small candy cane energy. Wait, what the fuck? One of the elves is trying to suck off a reindeer. I gotta go. I'm Tim Allen, the real Santa. Hey, Zach, it's Tim Allen.
Shit.
No, he's going again.
Yeah, let's not play that again. I couldn't believe that Tim Allen called in. I don't know what to say about that.
All right, well, let's start with the legal issues, okay? As far as Disney owning Santa or Christmas, we saw how well that played out when they made Coco, which was originally going to be called Dia de los Muertos, and they tried to copyright that name. Smooth. Yeah. Don't think they'll be owning Christmas anytime soon, despite their lawyers' best efforts. 2, whoever did send that, please get help. I worry about you. I worry about Zach here, and I'm worried about you. Just some of the things you said there just went off the rails. And by the way, I've seen the Tim Allen movies. He didn't kill Santa with his tools. Santa fell off the ladder because he startled him. That's how it happened. But again, that's total fiction, not how Santa was created, how the whole Santa thing works.
Okay. Well, is there anything you want to plug and promote, or
stay on the nice list?
Okay.
That's the only thing I really got to promote to the kids.
I was wondering if you had like an album coming out.
No,
or something.
no, none of that. Yeah, just stay on the nice list, and I won't see you Christmas Eve because that's how that works. But
what happens if they do see you, or has that ever happened? Sorry to bring this up right now.
I'm sorry, producer Jeff. It is Jeff, right? Yeah. We weren't going to talk about that. We agreed that was not going to be on the question list, and I'm out of here. All right.
I think
no.
Okay.
This is over. I can just put my damn coat on.
Okay. Thanks for coming.
Asking a question like that. Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, that was Santa, everyone. Thanks so much for watching this episode of Maximum Zack. I hope I'm not on the naughty list now. Yeah, that's just how my cookies crumbled, you know. But yeah, thanks everyone for watching. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and yeah, we're gonna have a great year, Maximum Zack up to come. Hell yeah.